I'm Danny Mix. A few months ago I made the album cover for ThomasKG's The Forsaken Abyss. He approached me back in January to make the cover for his latest album. It took months of work, but eventually we got it done. A lot of things changed over the time we worked on this. It went through a lot of iterations, so I thought in this video I would show you kind of the way it evolved, because, I think it's a little interesting, maybe. Now, here is the very first concept or sketch I made of what the album would look like. As you can see, the robot character looks pretty different from the final one. We'll get back to that later. Originally, one of the ideas for this album cover was to have it be all black and white with like a silhouette shining behind them of the whole city. He was also supposed to be falling to a visible, huge abyss, but that was kind of lost in later iterations. Now here's a sketch that Thomas made. As you can see, the abyss is much more prominent. You can see the clock tower in the back, all the spiky roof towers. And from the very beginning, he wanted the character that's falling to have a knife on his chest with, blood pouring out. Now here's the very first building I modeled when I started actually modeling the album cover. This was just like a concept of what the buildings would look like, and this specific building didn't make it into the final album. You'll see why in a bit. See, this building originally was supposed to be the big kind of main clock tower, but like I don't know what I was thinking with this. The clock itself is really tiny. You can barely see it. It's like a little like a weird house. It was not good. It just didn't really fit with the rest of the buildings. You can see I started just kind of blocking out the scene with the towers and the other buildings. You can see a little church over there in the corner, which also didn't make it to the final album cover. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly why I scrapped it. I don't know. I didn't really know where to take that, so I just took it out. In this one, I added the castle kind of building in the left. Just kind of block it out. And on the right, you can see the big spiky tower, which pretty much went untouched throughout the rest of the development. You can see I also made the roofs on the towers a lot spikier, because originally I showed the last iteration to Thomas with the roofs, and he didn't like that they were so like round, and he said toy-like. So it's supposed to be like a gothic kind of aesthetic, so yeah, I had to have that in mind while developing the rest of the album cover. Now you see I finally deleted that old clock tower because it was really bad, and as I said, it didn't fit with the rest of the album. So I just made it like another big long tower, like the ones on the sides, with the spiky roof. And I just added the wall back there, added more detail to the castle on the walls, added the big wall surrounding the entire village, city place, more towers. Okay, now I gotta talk about this mock-up that Thomas made in like Photoshop or something. He he just used the PNGs that I sent him. He told me about he wanted like an evil version of the original character to be on the clock tower, because that's like the evil version of himself. You can see he just grabbed a PNG of a moon, put it in the back there, and again the abyss here, which is not really on the final cover. And on the left you can see this cropped image, which is the cover for one of his old albums. He told me he wanted to have like a little reference to it in the background, over in the in the distance, because he just wanted to like show how big this album cover is in comparison to his last one, to show how the overall album is just bigger and better than his last one. Now, yeah, you can see in this next iteration I added on the left there the little reference to his last album, and I started working on the big castle in the back with the bridge, and also just added overall just more detail, because it's supposed to be like really detailed, a lot of like small things you can just zoom in and see all the detail. That's something Thomas really wanted for his album cover. And here this was just a lighting test for, because at the time I think we were still with the idea of it being black and white with the silhouettes, so it was just kind of a lighting test for that. But this was not the final lighting. It changed a lot. And then Thomas sent me this kind of guideline. The purple line is supposed to be the wall, the big wall that's supposed to surround the city, and he wanted me to move the reference, the little house with the tree up on these hills that he also wanted. He wanted these like big, epic, sweeping hills. Here's a different lighting test, a little more well lit, I guess. With you can see the sky that I was trying out, which was a little too realistic for what we were going for. So I scrapped that. And also you can see these trees, like dead trees inside the city, which also didn't make it into the final album cover. I'm not sure why I didn't add those. That's my bad. Now at this point is when I started texturing some of the buildings. You can see here this brick texture that I used, which I think is different from the final one. I guess I don't know. I guess Thomas just didn't like it. Whatever, Thomas. Here's the next iteration. You can see just a lot overall, just more detail. It's supposed to be very maximalist, which is the opposite of minimalist. Started, developing the castle in the back and the bridge. Added this flag on the tower on the right there, and just made the big hills that he wanted. And also these houses on the left, he wanted this like village section of the castle of the city. Now here's another guideline image that Thomas sent me. You can see just kind of like a mock-up of what the full art is supposed to look like. Here's on the center, the main character falling. I was supposed to have this like graveyard part in the back here with the big tombstone, which is it's like the main big tombstone. You can see just a lot of suggestions, I guess. On the towers you can see these like spider creatures that they're called John. They were this model that I made before I even started working on the album cover, of this spider robot kind of thing, and I showed it to Thomas, and he really liked them, so he wanted them on the album cover. But I lost this model of the spider robot, so I just we just couldn't use it for the cover. Also the kind of carnival section over in the back on the right there. That was also something he wanted. He wanted the windows to be bigger and rounder. And you can see here he says, "What's the point of the pipes? Are they ejecting something? Gas? Smoke? Fumes? What?" I don't know, Thomas. They're supposed to look cool. And this is the pretty much what the final album cover looks like, just, you know, without the textures. Has the carnival, the tombstones, the houses, castle, the fences over here in the path, the walls with these blocks, I don't know what they're called. And yeah, this is pretty much the final iteration. And now here I'm finishing just texture work with the default Blender lighting. But actually texturing, I got most of my textures, if not all of them, from this website called SketchUp Textures. It's a pretty useful website. And now here's what the final lighting looks like with just a bunch of differently colored lights. It's pretty blue. We didn't really have like a concrete color palette. I just kind of eyeballed it, I guess. And the way you can see here that it's just the castle. It doesn't have the background or anything. The way I did this is with the layers. I separated like the foreground and the background into different layers because to help my computer, because it's really not very powerful. Okay, now that we're done with that, I'm gonna talk about the main character, because it also went through a couple iterations. Here's the first version of the character. This was just a model I had already made, and Thomas liked it for his character. And you can see in some of these renders, it also had like the silhouette aesthetic on it. After a while of working on the album cover, I showed Thomas this character that I had made, and well, we decided to go with this design instead of the old one. I just looked overall just better, to be honest. But I actually lost this model as well. I guess I have a bad record for that. So I had to just completely remake it from scratch. You can see here I just had to completely redo it again, which took a little while, but it wasn't too bad. After that was finished, I had to make the evil version of the character. You can see this is the first kind of iteration of him. It's very different from the final one. I used this kind of dirty white texture because at first I literally just inverted the colors for his design, but well, Thomas didn't really like that, so I had to just make it like a lot darker, just more black, and also make it very red and give him a knife. Give him a knife because I guess in the lore he's the one that stabbed the original character, because he's evil like that. Also in the album cover you can see a few of my characters in there, because well, we just had to kind of fill it up. We just kind of had to populate the city, so we just used a few of my robots. You can see this one, he's like a soldier kind of guy. And also Thomas wanted this like slave character for to be like the main species to populate the city. Well, at first he was supposed to be like a slave, just working for no pay. but he ended up being more like a citizen. Alright, now I'm just gonna talk about some other small things that I didn't talk about in the rest of this video. So, these flags, I have to talk about these flags because I know Thomas wanted me to talk about these. You can see here on this rightmost tower, there's these two flags, which are not just, they're not just random colors. The one on the left is a reference to Shapes and Silhouettes. You can see that it has the same color scheme, the same colors. And the bigger one on the right is a reference to 915. And there's actually another 915 reference, which is the clock tower itself. You can, if you look at it, you can see the time is 9:15. The castle on the back was actually Thomas's idea, because originally I was gonna have like just like a bunch of houses, bunch of little castles or stuff. And then Thomas is the one that came to me and told me, oh, it'd be better if you change that into just one big castle instead of a bunch of small ones. And the little carnival on the back there, on the right, which is kind of a reference to one of the songs in the album, which, what is it called? I think it's called Carousel. Those little sparkling stars on the back were made in a completely separate file, and then I rendered it as a PNG and we added them to the sky over there. And also these mountains, which these mountains were originally just like a concept, not a concept, like a mock-up of what the mountains would look like. I was supposed to actually make different, better mountains, but I didn't really have the time, so we had to go with these. If you zoom into them, you can see they're actually a bit lower resolution than the rest of the album. And now, to finish this video off, we're gonna listen to some of Thomas's final thoughts on this album, well, specifically the album cover and what he thinks of it. So yeah, let's listen to that.
Hello, I am ThomasKG. I made the album The Forsaken Abyss. It's pretty cool. Hopefully, that's kind of an egotistical thing to say. I think it's pretty cool. Hopefully it's pretty cool. Hopefully you listened to it, or at least you liked it if you did, or you will listen to it, or something like that. But yeah, I'm not here to talk about myself. I'm here to talk about the album cover, which was made by Danny Max, and God, is it freaking awesome. Like, hold on, let me look at this. Dude, that's beautiful. That is a beautiful album cover. Wow. I worked with Dan. I call him Dan. I worked with Dan for months. Basically like half the time I was working on the album. Actually, probably over half the time I was working on the album. Like 2/3 of the time I was working on the album, I was like, hey, I should probably... I go to him and I say, I should probably, like, tell you that I have an idea for, like, an album cover. I kind of wanted you to make it, because our other friend, Real Dev, made the last album cover for Shades and Silhouettes, and I was like, okay, let's go. And then my other friend, who I haven't really talked to in a long time, Rookie Reviews, he made the 915 album cover. So I'm like, okay, let's go to Danny Max, make him make the Forsaken Abyss album cover. And I had this sort of simple idea for like a sort of more minimalistic album cover, where it would just be this sort of silhouette, this very vague silhouette that was hopefully super easy to make. I don't know how Blender works, but super easy to make. This simple silhouette of like an industrial gothic city in the background. Well, Timothy, aka me, was falling in robot form, was falling with a knife in his chest, and the whole thing would be black and white, and the only thing that would be colored would be the blood. And it was going to be super minimalistic. That was the idea. And then I said, okay, so yeah, that's my idea. And then Dan started working on the city, and from that perspective that the camera was at, it was not possible to do it how I wanted it. It was immediately not possible. Like, after he started doing enough work on it, I realized he's not doing it in like a flat 2D plane. So it's going to be very difficult. Like, this is all 3D. It's going to be very difficult to turn this into a nice little silhouette. And I'm just like, okay. Alright, we're going to do this a different way. We're going to go the 3D modeled environment route, which would look cooler than my original idea anyway. So I'm like, alright, let's go with that. And then he kept working on it. And I kept putting my input. And then I realized eventually, yeah, this is gonna be really hard to make. But I gave him like 6 months. Should be fine. This, let me just say, this freaking album cover was down to the wire. I was up at 4 a.m. the night of, I think it was June 17th was when I needed to upload this. I was up at 4 a.m. I think on June 18th or June 19th, finishing the album cover. I had just the other day finished the last song, Please Don't Hurt Me. I finished that last minute. All the vocals, last minute. Instrumental done, last minute. I finished that. I got that in last minute. And all we had to do was get the album cover out. So Dan and I were like, he was like rendering stuff, and I was, he was rendering stuff like constantly, and we were like playing games, but just waiting for that stuff to render. Well, we could go in and check, was it good, and God, and it ended up being like 4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. right now. I'm doing that, recording this at 4 a.m. I need to sleep. My freaking sleep schedule. Fix my freaking sleep schedule. But yeah, I was up at like 4 or 5 a.m. just grinding out the album cover, photoshopping everything, doing everything. He got that done like last minute. And there was like changes. I'm like, okay, I know it's late, but God, I need this fixed. And then we would render it again, because I don't know. I guess it was my OCD kicking in that I probably don't have. Maybe I do. Some of the changes, I'm like, what are the pipes doing? Why are the pipes there? Why is the house? The house doesn't look right. I was like, that moon needs to be over like 2 pixels to the left. But yeah, I think a lot of that was fixed by letting me sort of put it all, like rendering it in different layers and putting it all together, because I did a lot of that. The moon was like all the layers, the mountains, the moon, the stars, the front, the back, that was all added, and I did that all. I did some like vibrance work. I did some Photoshop work on this to make it actually, look good. Or it didn't. It already looked good, but to make it like look the best that it could. And I think I do really think I succeeded, because this looks amazing already. And God, just like, here's the thing: the album cover itself, I'm a little bit weird on, but the album art is never going to be topped. I don't think it'll ever be topped in the history of my albums. I don't think the album art will ever be topped, or no album art that's ever made will ever top The Forsaken Abyss, because it was all 3D modeled by hand. All of it. All 3D modeled by hand. And then there's so much detail in every square inch of this cover, or of the art. Which means that when you're looking at the album cover from far away, it looks kind of bad. But because the album art is like designed to be like a wallpaper and stuff, this is like the best thing that's ever been made by man. It's probably a lie, but probably that is a lie, but it's really freaking good. Let me tell you that. Yeah, I hope Dan actually hasn't finished the video when I'm recording this, so I don't know what he goes over yet. I hope he goes over the flags, shades and silhouettes in 915, referenced in the flag, stuff like that, all the Easter eggs. But yeah, I'm just super happy with how this turned out. Dan put in a crap ton of work into this. He literally, we grinded that out for months. We grinded this out for months. This album cover was probably about as difficult to make as the album itself, if not harder. So, I mean, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I hope you guys are too. I don't really know what else to say. But, yeah, check out the album if you haven't listened to it before or already. Thank you for watching. God, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I should probably end this now. It's like 8 minutes long. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Wow, give it up for Thomas, you guys. That was you might notice right now a significant drop in audio quality because he has the actual professional mic and I'm just recording this with my headset. But yeah, that was that's the Forsaken Abyss behind the scenes video. What am I supposed to say? Thank you for watching. I guess I should include some of my thoughts on the album cover. Well, it was a lot of work, but I think it was worth it in the end. It was pretty good practice, for 3D modeling and designing, like a proper environment instead of just a character. I think the album itself is really great. I think I really like Thomas's style of music with this like alternative rock kind of thing. So yeah, make sure to listen to the album. It's on like every single platform ever created for music. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. Make a new video in
Oh, I'm the villain in your story. Got your pain in mind. The world doesn't have to be so gory. Here we are tonight. Oh, I'm the demon on your shoulder, and your life's on sale. The graveyard is calling you, 'cause I'm the mastermind behind your little fairy tale.